Okay folks, today we are going to do a tomato review on the Patio Tomato. I've done an earlier quick review coming out of the winter months. I got a couple of tomatoes, was dying to try it, figured I'd turn you guys on to it, and I did a quick review. This video it's going to be official. So here it is, a Patio Tomato, and it wasn't the heaviest producing tomato, but it was very consistent. So it produced quite a few tomatoes, but not all at once. It kind of spreads them out. So as they would ripen, I'd have to take them off the plant. I can't leave them on there, like to wait for others to ripen so I could get, enough to make a sauce or something. So I have to pick them when they ripen, as they ripen. So I did get a lot more than what you see here, and there's still more on the plant. But it wasn't like a big overload of tomatoes. Like, for example, the totem tomato was absolutely unbelievable how many tomatoes that plant put out. Whereas this one, it put out pretty good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, guys, these are nice sized tomatoes here. For a patio tomato, I mean, look at this. That's a nice sized tomato, folks. That's a very, very nice tomato. Let me bring you up a little bit. So, I mean, yeah, there's some cracking on it because of the watering. But this is like more or less an average size for it. It's about a Campari sized tomato. It's just a really, really good tomato. I really like this coming out of the winter. It might just be because I'm so tomato deprived coming out of the winter and eating store-bought tomatoes that when I finally ate something that I grew out of a pot, it tasted unbelievably good. I don't know. It could be that, or maybe they are really good. So I haven't really been eating too many of these tomatoes. I did eat a few while I was in the greenhouse, a while back, but I let the rest of them ripen up, and the others are ripening now. So we got enough here to do the review. So give this a little bit of a juice. Very juicy, man. Okay, so this one's running almost 7 on the bricks, which is the highest number I've seen on any of my tomatoes yet this year. On the bigger tomatoes, not the smaller. The cherry tomatoes are, 10, 8, 9, 10. But for the bigger size tomatoes, that's the biggest number I've seen yet. So let me show you what it looks like on the inside. Alright, that's what it looks like. And we're going to taste that right now. Guys, that tomato is absolutely delicious. It's not just a winter tomato and I was deprived of tomatoes. This tomato is a winner. As far as flavor goes, you ain't going to beat this. This thing got the best of both worlds. As far as sweetness goes, I'm going to say the sweetness was probably like a 28 on the sweetness. As far as the tangy goes, maybe a 30. So the balance is basically right there. That balance of sweetness and tanginess is perfect. It's very moist. It was not chalky. And when you swallowed it, that aftertaste was very rich in this tomato. If you're a tomato person and you like that tomatoey aftertaste after you eat it, this is it right here, guys. This is the perfect tomato as far as I'm concerned. I'll cut open another one. One that's not too ripe, because some of them are starting to get blemished because these have been sitting around now here for a little while, and we need to get them processed so they don't rot on me, because I got so many other tomatoes coming in that I need to do something with that. So what do you say we give that one a go? Guys, I'm telling you, this tomato right here, man, that is unbelievably good. That is a winner for this year. This is definitely a winner. It's going to be actually hard for me to process these tomatoes without eating them. I have to save seeds to them because, I sell seeds online, but and then whatever's left after I squeeze the seeds, then I take that and I grind it and I make sauce with it. As far as making sauce with them, I would say this is probably a killer tomato to make sauce with. This tomato is absolutely delicious. Definitely worth growing. Now, I do want to point out that this is a bush variety of tomato, so generally the tomato's not going to get much more than 2.5 feet, maybe 3 feet if in best case scenarios, but in my experience growing this thing in a pot, it didn't get any bigger than, I think, maybe 30 inches at best. It stayed small, shrubby, put out a pretty good amount of tomatoes, and I'm going to attempt to bring some of my tomato plants in this year. I might do it with this particular variety, this and a totem, because I really like the flavor of those two tomatoes. So I'm probably going to bring them in and attempt to keep them alive through the winter so I can continue to get at least some kind of tomatoes, even if they're a little bit on the small side like this. You know, this is a little bit smaller than the average size. So, I mean, if I have to, that's fine. I'll eat those all winter, no problem. If it gives me tomatoes that size or even a little smaller, that's perfect for me, actually. But I definitely recommend this tomato. Definitely look into the patio tomato. And if you're somebody who don't like growing very large tomato plants, this is definitely a good substitute for a smaller variety tomato, which I'm going to be doing a lot more videos on dwarf and micro dwarf tomatoes rather than the standard tomatoes that get super huge, because I need tomatoes that put out production early. This particular variety kind of put out production somewhat early in the season, and I was getting tomatoes somewhat early. So it was actually, I've been eating tomatoes since April. I was growing this indoors, which you can do with this variety. You can just grow it, keep it dwarf in a small pot. When you bring it out, transplant it into a bigger pot, and then the plant will get to like 30 inches. And then at that point, you're pretty much, you got tomatoes. So this is a good variety. These dwarf tomatoes are definitely an option for indoor growers. This is something I'm really going to be exploring, because until I can get a heated greenhouse, I can't really fool around with all these other varieties, because they take too long to grow, and they make fruit, and then the diseases get them. I need something that I can get fruit off of very quickly, and these plants do that. So anyway, that's enough. That was your tomato review for the patio tomato. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.